When Wolper made a deal with the National Geographic, most of the filmmakers at Wolper had come out of New York filmmaking. They come out of 20th Century, which was a terrific documentary series under a man named Isaac Kleinerman. And they were, they were really good with historical subjects, clip shows, and so forth, and made wonderful films and were extremely talented. But none of them had any natural history experience. And I was, from a kid, I was always a nature buff. And so when they made the deal with National Geographic, I was working with Cousteau, and Wolper had just made the deal with Geographic, and he said, I want you to meet the people from Geographic because I think you talk their kind of language and so forth. And so I was researching on a show called Dr. Leakey and the Dawn of Man that Nick Noxon made. But the Geographic people came, and kind of very quickly they thought, well, this is kind of the in-house natural history guy. And they wanted to do a show on birds. And I really wanted to do it, but they hired someone else. And I was working with Cousteau. I was disappointed because I thought, oh God, I'd love to do a bird show. But, and I was probably the only person at Wolper that would have wanted to do a bird show. So, but it didn't work out with the other person. And so they called me, and I can't remember how, I was spread thin. I was doing two things at the same time. I might have been finished, I can't remember what it was. But I said, well, I need to work with someone else. So there was a guy there, Jeff Myra, who was a writer. So basically, oh, I remember what it was. Actually, I had agreed to do an Amazon show for Geographic, and I had shot it, and I had typhoid fever. So I was recovering from typhoid fever. And the bird show fell apart. And they said, could you do the bird show? So I said, I was editing in my house because I couldn't get out of, I couldn't get out of up and around. It took me about 4 months to recover. And so they moved to the editing facility there. So then I started blocking out the show and looking at footage and so forth and so on. And I went and did the shoots. There weren't that many shoots because we found this man named Heinz Seelman who had more footage that I did another show with, 2 more shows with his material. And so I ended up getting to do the bird show, I guess is the short and the long of this story. And Jeff wrote the narration.